Hey everyone, before we dive headfirst into this madness, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, send this to your group chat. And drop your thoughts in the comments. I need to know where y'all stand on this one, because, trust me, it's wild. I ran across an old clip recently, from about 3 years back, but weirdly, it lands even harder now. Especially after everything that just popped off this past Easter, the timing, too perfect. And what Tiffany said in this video. Phew, the irony is practically screaming. You couldn't write a better twist if you tried. So tonight we're rewinding the tape and diving deep into a moment that aged like spoiled milk served in a champagne glass. Let's get into it. Picture this, it's the early pandemic days. Zoom fatigue at its peak. Cameras blurry, mics muted, everyone looking like a baked potato floating in a Brady Bunch grid. In the middle of all that chaos, Tiffany, who's never met a dramatic moment she didn't like, decides it's time to address a so-called urgent village issue. She jumps on Zoom, ready to make a grand statement. And even through the pixelated feed, you could feel the intensity. She comes in swinging. Board of Trustees and residents, I need everyone to understand there is no trespassing at the old village hall, and y'all, the way she said it, you'd think someone just broke into the Pentagon. She was putting her whole chest into that word trespassing, like she was protecting classified intel. Then she drops that she's been getting alarming reports. Someone's allegedly sneaking into the building without permission. And Tiffany? She was not here for it. She laid down the law. Didn't matter if you used to work there, live there, or just walked by. If you didn't have access, you were breaking rules. No passes, no exceptions. Then she hits us with, how did they even get the access code? Boom, that's when it all clicked. This wasn't about a building, it was about power. Tiffany was putting her authority on full display, but she didn't. Stop there. Oh no, she doubled down. She warned that anyone caught inside without clearance would face full legal consequences. She talked about it like it was election fraud or cybercrime. And for a second, you might have thought she was just protecting public property. But then came the curveball. Tiffany said someone saw a former Village of Benton employee walking around in uniform. That's when it got wild. Because now, it wasn't just about unauthorized entry, it was about impersonation, according to Tiffany. If you don't work there anymore and you're still out here rocking Village logo gear, that's not just questionable, it's criminal. She literally called it impersonating a government official and started tossing around phrases like criminal offense, like she was auditioning for a law and order HOA unit and the person she was pointing fingers at. Someone she personally fired back in 2021, right after she came in and started flipping Benton upside down. Keep up, this is where it gets hilarious. That employee hadn't worked there in years, but according to Tiffany, he was still showing up in public wearing the Village-branded gear. Not just a random hoodie either, we're talking full-on embroidered, official-looking attire. And by the way Tiffany reacted, you'd think he was setting up a rogue government from inside a Walgreens. Like this man put on a polo and declared, "Martial law at the corner store." And then, dead serious, Tiffany looked into the camera and said, once you've been fired, you no longer work for the Village of Benton. Period. End of story. No exceptions. No room for confusion. But fast forward to this past Easter, and guess who's out front of the Village building, handing out food, taking photos, giving speeches like she's still on payroll? You guessed it, Tiffany. She's not the mayor, not the supervisor, not even a seasonal intern. But there she is grinning like she's back on the clock, handing out food she didn't buy, and posting up like she's still running things. So let me get this straight, when someone else wears Village merch, it's a felony, but when Tiffany does it, it's a tribute? Girl, please. Let's be clear, if a fired employee wears the uniform, it's criminal impersonation. But if Tiffany does it, it's community leadership? No, ma'am. That's not leadership. That's a cosplay. She just pulled out her old super mayor costume for one more community theater cameo. And let's not forget that stone-faced Zoom performance from back then. That wasn't about security or professionalism, that was all about power, control. And we all remember what was unraveling behind the scenes in 2021, her relationship with Kamal. A whole soap opera. And maybe, just maybe, someone she fired was getting a little too much attention for her comfort. Because when you mix ego with personal drama, it never ends clean. And now here she is, still saying, you can't wear the logo, you can't be near the building, you can't speak for the village. But baby, you're doing every single one of those things. Every rule she made, she's out here breaking with confidence. Like it's opposite day and we didn't get the memo. What we're witnessing is someone who creates rules until they don't work for her anymore, and then tosses them out like expired coupons. Tiffany set the standard, and then stomped all over it, on video, in public, smiling while doing it. The hypocrisy is loud, the ego, even louder, the irony? Deafening. All right, that's my rundown for tonight, but I need y'all to weigh in. Is Tiffany just being petty? Is this a full-on power spiral, or is something deeper going on? Drop your take in the comments, hit like if you caught the contradiction. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and send this to someone who remembers the last time she was actually employed. Now, Tiffany, girl, weren't you the one yelling about how fired people shouldn't be wearing village gear? Well, congrats. You're fired, officially unemployed, you're not running anything. Not the council, not the meetings, not even the neighborhood bake sale. Yet somehow, you're still out here acting like the crown queen of Benton. Quick side note, we have to talk about the makeup. Girl, it's giving traffic cone. That foundation is loud, like 8 layers of burnt orange. During a heat wave loud. It's 2025, why are we still fighting with our face products? That base isn't blended, it's battling for its life. You're not glowing, you're melting. This ain't a town hall, it's a drag brunch and a toaster oven. All right, let's get into the real mess. Tiffany's out here warning people that pretending to be a village official after getting fired is some kind of crime. Sis, you've been out here role-playing as mayor and supervisor for how long now? Is this a government position or a booth at Comic-Con? You keep preaching that the law applies to everyone, so when's it gonna start applying to you? Now let's shift gears for a second, because we have to talk about the wig. Word on the street is she dropped a whole $1,000 on it. Let me repeat that, $1,000 for that. That wig looks like it was assembled using packing tape, off-brand yarn, and sheer hope. It's given DIY at 3 a.m. Behind a Family Dollar, and the color? It wanted to be blonde, but ended up stuck somewhere between mop water and mild regret. That's not boardroom chic, that's Pinterest gone terribly wrong. And listen, if you really went to cosmetology school like you claim, then we need to talk. Because that lace front? It's not lacing, it's crying. If you dropped $1,000 on that hairpiece, you didn't get a style, you paid for a cautionary tale, but let's bring it back because as fun as it is to roast the wig and foundation, the bigger issue is this, you're not the mayor, not the supervisor, not even a committee volunteer. And yet you're out here showing up at community events, standing in front of village buildings, passing out free food like you're still in office. Easter rolls around and you pop up like it's some dramatic comeback. Babe, that wasn't a return, it was a wardrobe change. You're not running a municipality. You're just running your mouth. And the way you blew up about someone wearing a Dalton hoodie like it was a threat to Homeland Security. Girl, they were probably just grabbing their last paycheck, but you? You turned it into an episode of CSI, Small Town Edition. Classic Tiffany. Since we're doing flashbacks, let's rewind. June 7th, 2021. You had power. March 2024? Gone, just like that. And the person you tried to take down? Thriving. Meanwhile, you're still holding on to a title that doesn't exist. And a wig that should have been laid to rest 5 scandals ago. And now you're trying to build an ice rink and name it after your daughter? Honey, that's not legacy, that's delusion. This isn't ancient Rome, you're not Caesar. You're not building history. You're building secondhand embarrassment. This whole production, over the top, the makeup, straight up theatrical, the wig, emergency level, and this super mayor act, completely drained. But here's the kicker, you could turn this around, seriously. You could stop pretending, drop the ego, and stop rewriting your own drama like it's a Hallmark comeback special. Because the truth is, you're not running the show anymore. You're just running out of time. Okay, now I'm done, for real. But before I bounce smash that like button, hit subscribe, share this video with someone who's been following the saga, and if you want to support the channel, tap that join button. It keeps the gossip fresh and the jokes on point. Take care of yourselves, and Tiffany, sis, handle that wig. We're begging you. Bye.